So hello there, Mid-Bronx seniors or Concourse Plaza seniors. We are so happy to be back with you. The last time I was with you in August, we were in the midst of the COVID pandemic, and we were all so anxious about what would happen to us for the next few months. So now we are in the next few months. It's December and we're still here. We're still quarantined, and you are probably not getting enough activities nor getting enough nutrition, and we're all concerned, but we're doing the best we can. I am pretty sure that is your story as it is mine. But today I would like to talk to you more specifically about protein and protein intake. What is protein and why do we need it? Every time we hear the word protein and protein intake, we normally conjure up or see in our minds, we see a bodybuilder, right? That's what we do when we hear about protein. Today, we're not talking about bodybuilding. We're not talking about bodybuilders, because I know some of you probably were, but we're talking about how you maintain your body mass based on the fact that you are an older adult. How does a senior maintain body mass and keep healthy with protein intake? That is our topic today. And the reason we're concerned about this is because protein is the building block of our flesh, our muscles, or mass, and it is required more than maybe anything else that we can talk about for nutrients, right? And seniors are at risk for not consuming enough protein. So today we're gonna sit a little bit, and well, you might be walking around in your kitchen. Today I don't have a lot of stuff in front of me, so I want to talk to you seriously about your protein intake without much props or anything else that we normally do, all right? So let's get into it. Why do older adults need to eat more protein-rich foods? We need to eat more protein-rich foods because adults keep losing weight when they deal with chronic illness or they're facing hospitalization. So that basically frames why it is that we are concerned about protein intakes for older adults. During these stressful periods, aging bodies process the protein that we take in less efficiently, okay? Older adults' bodies need more protein to maintain muscle mass, strength, bone health, essential physiological functions. The body mass we talked about, we don't need to be fat or big, but we need to have our protein so available to us that we can see it on our bodies, right? Basically, most of your body weight now should be protein, not fat. And doing that is very difficult. It is very difficult. It is very difficult for younger adults, and it's very difficult for older adults as well. Healthy seniors need more protein than when you were younger to help preserve muscle mass, but so do many older adults, okay? But many of us do not eat adequate amount of protein due to reduced appetite, dental issues, impaired taste, swallowing problems, and limited financial resources. So basically what we're saying is that when you're of an older age, it's harder to take in all the protein that you need because your appetite is reduced. So you're at home right now, and I'm sure you're connecting with that. You can't eat because you don't feel like eating. You can't eat enough because you have dentition problems, right? Or teeth whatever it is doesn't work, or it's hurting, it's not tight enough, it's not loose enough. And also nothing tastes as good, or taste buds are off, right? So now we want to put more salt, or we try to put more pepper, or try to put more cayenne, we try to put more just seasoning herbs, all of that, and still we're not feeling as if we're getting enough, or taste is the way it used to be. And then a lot of seniors, a lot of you all have swallowing issues, right? When you swallow, it is very hard for it to go down. To take care of the swallowing issues, we normally suggest pulsed food. I can do another class about that another time, but we do know that a lot of seniors are having swallowing issues at this time. And many of us have limited financial resources, so we cannot afford to get the correct protein that we need, right? The protein by nature is the most expensive part of the diet, right? The meat. So protein is the meat. We're going to talk about what it is later, but protein is the meat, what you guys call the meat part of your meal. And those items normally cost more, right? We notice that the chicken and the fish and the beef and the pork, they cost a lot more. It's easier to get things from the supermarket that are cheaper for the way your budget is, all right? So we tend to eat a lot of breads and things of that nature that are cheaper rather than spending the money on the protein item, all right? There's also the fact that older adults become more sedentary. So on top of it all, you're not getting enough protein. You're not as active, especially now in COVID, right? And you are just sitting around watching TV. And that act alone deteriorates your muscles. So we have causation, and at the same time, we have the problem, right? The problem is the cause is the problem. So protein is very important now. It's very important that in COVID, you are paying attention to how much protein you're taking in, because we're seeing now that there's a lot of problems around that, all right? People are sitting down, like I said, they're eating the wrong foods because now you can't, get as much as you used to. And this is a time you do need more protein. But now you have more fat than you have muscles. And now you're deteriorating, all right? And on top of that, with more fat, less protein, and being so sedentary, now you're less mobile. So your mobility is compromised. So now you're walking slower, right? And many of the seniors are in wheelchairs, or you have compromised. Many people are using walkers or wheelchair bound, and that again indicates that we have to take more protein in. We have to try to get more protein in. And of course, older adults' problems with protein is compounded by loss of independence. Here's what we know. We know that you are less likely to lose functions if you consume more protein. Functions such as the ability to dress yourselves, get out of bed, walk up a flight of stairs, and more. Researchers have found that older adults who ate more protein were 30% less likely to become functionally impaired than those who ate the least amount. All right? So this is scientific. I didn't make it so. We already know that for the seniors that are taking in more protein, they have better outcomes when it comes to functionality. And the less protein you take in, then the less mobility you have, the more your muscle mass decreases, and the more problems you start having, all right? And so that is why, and COVID is a perfect time. Now, COVID has been happening for more than 6 months. Usually these studies last 6 months. And we're very concerned now that because people have been homebound, quarantining for 6 months, that this might be a really big issue. So I would like for us to pay attention to this, that we do not have to we don't have to suffer with this problem. We know what it is, and we can address it with our nutrition every week, with the groceries that we have or the food that we're taking in, all right? But we have to know exactly that this can be a problem, all right? Also, the reason I chose to talk about this today is that when we still talk about protein, if you don't think about muscle building, right? You normally think about Ensure, or you know what, let me not give brand names, but all those protein shakes that we seniors love so much, right? This is a problem because when you're not eating, when your appetite is reduced, when you don't want to eat, when you can't taste anything, it's easy to say, I'm going to drink that protein shake, like Ensure and all the others, Boost, all the others that we know. I'm sorry to give brand names, but this is what we're doing, right? But that in itself is particularly problematic because those protein drinks, many of them that are cheaper, are not the best quality. They have a lot of sugar and a lot of other nutrients that will also compound your problems. And many of them do not have enough protein that you need. And you're depending on these shakes to give you, to supplement your nutrients for the day, and they really aren't enough, all right? So we need to pay attention, and we need to change our mindset about what it is that these liquid drinks do. It's best if we're eating for protein, all right? If we cannot chew or we cannot swallow, then there is a method of putting your protein into the blender and having it pulsed. But that in itself is going to be another topic for another time, all right? So we may have to do that another time to discuss, to see how best you are going to try to get your protein in based on pulsing. So then it becomes, how much protein do you need? How much protein do older adults need to eat? Older adults need to eat 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal. So for every meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, we are suggesting that you should be taking in 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal, right? And many of the things that we do today are not enough protein. We're going to talk about that later, and especially for breakfast. Breakfast, we become so used to having just the oatmeal or just the cereal with some milk, and it is definitely not enough. What we have to begin to do to breakfast is to add an egg to the cereal, an egg to the oatmeal. We have to try to supplement with some yogurt, some Greek yogurt, or turkey sausage, right? We just cannot have oatmeal and then that's it, right? It's not, you're not doing enough. That's not going to be enough protein from just having the cereal. And it is recommended that you eat protein in all the forms that we eat protein in. So we're going to talk about the forms of protein that there is. The last time I was here, we talked about whole grains. A lot of the whole grains that we talked about were also good protein sources. This time we will talk specifically about protein and the types of protein, animal protein and vegetable protein. All right? So when you go to the supermarket, it's possible for you to get animal protein or vegetable protein. Knowing the difference is very important because the meat protein like chicken, steak, turkey, lamb, pork, ham, eggs are very important. If you have 3 ounces of chicken, that's 141 calories and 28 grams of protein. Did we know that? And did we know that 3 ounces of steak is 158 calories and 26 grams of protein, right? So we need how many protein for that meal, for that dinner or lunch? We need 30. And already, just the entree, 3 ounce that's required for you for each meal, has 26 grams where steak is concerned and 28 grams of skinless chicken in 3 ounces of 3 ounces of chicken gives you 28 grams of protein if it's skinless, okay? And then there's turkey. 3 ounces of turkey, 25 grams of protein. 3 ounces of lamb, 23 grams of protein. If you notice, the higher the fat content, the lesser the protein content, all right? But still, lamb, pork, ham, eggs, which are high in fat, are very good sources of protein, okay? One egg, just one, has 6 grams of protein, all right? And 3 ounces of ham, 14 grams. But the 3 ounces of ham that has 14 grams, we have to make sure that it is not too salty, all right? We don't want to talk about the sodium content of that same ham that's giving you 14 grams of protein. So there's a lot of things to consider, but I just wanted you to understand where you're getting your protein from. What is the protein and where does it come from? What is the source, all right? So when you go to seafood, which is still flesh, it's still animal, right? The salmon ranks the highest, right? Salmon, 3 ounces of salmon, 155 calories, right? But 22 grams of protein. That is particularly high in terms of fat, but salmon fat is undisputably good for you. So we're not concerned about the fat in salmon, all right? It's okay to have a piece of salmon, 3 ounces, 22 grams of protein. The tuna, 3 ounces of tuna again, 99 calories from that, and 22 grams of protein. Shrimp, 3 ounces of shrimp gives you 101 calories and 20 grams of protein. I know a lot of us will not be able to afford lobster. That's kind of high. But the lobster at Red Lobster has, if it's 3 ounces, it has 76 calories and 16 grams of protein. And of course, scallops. We have to mention that I love scallops, so I couldn't leave this off. 3 ounces of scallop has 75 calories and 14 grams of protein. Very important that we know these things, because with knowledge comes practice, and better practice, you get better outcome, all right? In terms of the legumes or the vegetable proteins, we're mostly concerned with the legumes, which are beans and peas and beans. Oh God. All right, I have a tongue twister, but you know what I mean, okay? So pinto beans that we all love, all seniors across all ethnic backgrounds love beans, and they particularly love pinto beans. Half a cup is the size you would need in a meal, and it would have 197 calories and 11 grams of protein, all right? So beans are not as high in protein as the animal fat, but they do provide very essential amino acids that we need, and many of them are bioavailable, not as available as the animal fat, but our bodies, animal protein, but our bodies are able and capable of breaking down that protein quickly. And so it is required that we add beans or legumes to our diet. Some of the other legumes, I'm not going to go through the entire list, but mostly the highest that we go to is the pinto beans at 11 grams, and lentils that everyone loves comes in at 9 grams. The white beans, the lima beans, the fava beans that we all love, the black beans have 8 grams of protein. The red kidney beans that all the Caribbean people like has 8 grams of protein. The lowest that I see, that I know of, is the lima bean, that we all like lima beans. A lot of you do the lima beans, but you all do it with the turkey bones and all of that, so there's added protein. But the lima beans have 6 grams of protein. So we do know that it is possible to get our proteins from vegetables. And a lot of people now are using plant-based diets to be able to supplement their nutrition. Many people have stopped eating meat and are now just consuming beans and legumes. So it is very good that you will know exactly how much protein you get from that. You're not going to be getting as much protein as you would get from the animal kingdom, but you will learn to supplement that protein with other proteins. So if you're having legumes, then you would have some eggs with it, or have some yogurt, or some soy milk, or we will learn how to do this so that we're getting 25 to 30 grams of protein every time we sit down. All right, so you're keeping that in the back of your head. We need 25 to 30 grams of protein. And how do I get this? If I eat the beans, which is great for me, it's great that I can eat the beans, it's good for my digestive system, I still need to supplement that with some other protein, okay? So this is how we do that. Nuts and seeds are good sources of protein, right? The soy nuts, pumpkin seeds. As a matter of fact, soy nuts have 12 grams, 1 ounce of soy nuts has 12 grams of protein. Pumpkin seeds, peanuts that we love so much, 7 grams of protein. Pistachio, almonds, flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, cashew, all have significant amount of protein that you can add to your diet. Now, when it comes to the dairy products, okay, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, regular yogurt, milk, skim, soy milk, mozzarella, string cheese, all of these are very good products to add to your diet to get adequate amount of protein. 6 ounces of Greek yogurt that gives you 100 calories has 18 grams of protein, okay? Cottage cheese, 81 calories, 14 grams of protein. Regular yogurt, 1 cup of yogurt, regular yogurt, 100 calories, 11 grams of protein. Soy milk, 1 cup of soy milk, 132 calories, and 8 grams of protein. All right? So if you see the pattern, the less protein you have, the more likely that it has more fat. All right? So we need to be watching out for that. But at the same time, because we are eating whole, then we are less concerned as we would be if we're eating processed items. All right, so notice here, I did not mention supplement or supplement milk or supplement drink. All right, these shakes, protein shakes that you all love to have, or the bars, the kind bars or Nutri-Bars or bars that we've been having thinking that we're getting in proteins. I have not mentioned those because those processed items also have a lot of sugar and many have a lot of sodium, okay, that we need to be concerned about. But if we start eating regularly from the regular eat from scratch, we are going to get adequate amounts of protein with the knowledge that some of these protein items have more proteins than the others, but they're better to eat than to have processed items, okay? It's very important that we keep those things in mind. I will have to come back another time and drive this home because protein is very important. It is extremely important in the time of COVID. We want to maintain our muscle mass. We want to maintain our bone health. We want that if we have to go to the hospital, we're able to recover better. And so we have to watch we have to be very careful about our protein intake in this time. There is a kind of cheat sheet that I would recommend for your grocery shopping, right? Even though we know we might have limited amount of resources to do grocery shopping, there is a kind of mix that would keep your budget intact and would not have you overspending. And that would be if we get tuna, chicken breast, cottage cheese, turkey breast, beef, whey protein powder, all right, tofu, salmon, lentils, shrimp, Greek yogurt, oat, milk, quinoa, peanuts, eggs, almonds, pumpkin seeds, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. I am going to try to publish or to post this cheat sheet. And what you can do from this cheat sheet is for each time you go to the grocery store, for 5 days worth of grocery, you try to get 5 of these items. And that would ensure that you're getting adequate amount of protein in your diet. Again, 1 cup of tuna has 39 grams of protein. Chicken breast, 3.5 ounces have 30 grams of protein. Cottage cheese, 1 cup, 27 grams of protein. Cottage cheese and pineapple, I love that. If we just do that daily, we would be on our way. And cottage cheese is not that expensive, okay? Turkey breast, 3 ounces, 24 grams of protein. 3 ounces of beef, 22 grams of protein. The whey protein powder, if you must have the drink formula, then get the whey protein powder and make it yourself. And it has 20 grams of protein. Tofu, 3.5 ounces of tofu has 19 grams of protein. Salmon, 3 ounces of salmon, 19 grams of protein. Lentils, 1 cup, 18 grams of protein. Shrimp, 3 ounces, 18 grams of protein. Greek yogurt, 17 grams of protein. Oats, 13 grams of protein. Milk, quinoa. The quinoa is very important, but it has 8 grams of protein. Still significant if you get 6.5 ounces. And if you have 6.5 ounces of quinoa, which is 8 grams of protein, it still is so healthy that you're not getting a lot of fat from that. So the importance of this list is that the fat content and the sodium content on this list is the correct nutrient requirement for your age group, okay? This is the key to this list, all right? Almonds, 1 ounce, 6 grams of protein. Pumpkin seeds, broccoli, who knew? Broccoli has 3 grams of protein, and Brussels sprouts, and so does spinach. It's not here, but spinach does have, I think, 3 grams of protein in half cup. Not a significant source of protein, but it is enough, all right? So I'd like for you to pay attention to your protein intake. I'd like to ask you to maybe get up from your chair a little bit and walk around your apartment if you can, okay? Walk around your apartment if you can, okay? And walk around your apartment if you can. Walk around, get up, you know, do some activity, dusting. Just try to get some activity in, because the less activity you do is the more your muscle mass decomposes, okay? So we need to keep our muscle mass going to be able to come out of COVID healthy, all right? And we're all coming out of COVID really healthy and raring and ready to go with less mobility issues, being able to walk around the park, being able to do some activities on the street, go back to the supermarket, do all the things that we wanted to do because we were looking at our protein intake this whole time. Thank you so much. We'll see you again with more. This is Prudence signing out from Concourse Village.